Bloodshot Origins, one of the finest Valiant Comics superheroes. Hi, this is Simon Canish and welcome to another Marvelous Videos. Bloodshot's origin story is a familiar one, as popularized in the comics of an anti-hero we know who was betrayed and was seeking violent redemption. Though he has remained largely unsung for years, he has recently received a theatrical adaptation with Vin Diesel playing the Nanite-filled assassin. Throughout his multiple owners in the past 2.5 decades, Bloodshot has proven to be an unlikable character. And today, we're here to talk about his comic book story arcs and various adaptations. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. But before we go into our explanation, we do have a very small request. If you like our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thanks, and let's begin. The original Bloodshot story arc as introduced by Valiant Comics. Bloodshot, a cybernetically enhanced mercenary, was introduced in the early 90s after being betrayed and undergoing an experimental procedure that erased his memory and replaced his blood with microscopic robots that regenerate his tissue. He escapes and dedicates himself to fighting evil. Bloodshot first appeared in the Rise-Zero special. This special edition established the history of the original Valiant universe from 1992 up to the post-Unity crossover of the 41st century. The storyline depicted Unity comprising the timeline, and the Geomancers were tasked with maintaining the stability of reality. Angelo Mortali, who possessed silicon-based blood that gave him extraordinary physical strength and computer-like mental powers, was rescued by Jeff McHenry after breaking into the Project Rising Spirit. However, Angelo's creators found out too late that he was a dangerous weapon after he killed them during his escape. In later months, the Hardcore took an interest in Bloodshot's activities, and Jeff discovered timeline anomalies, seeking help from Eric Dacia. However, Eric was too busy enjoying life, so Jeff looked elsewhere for help. Eventually, Jeff informed Bloodshot about the dark power and corporate war between Toyo Harada, the Hardcore, and other economic powers, warning him of the impending dark times. Jeff continued his crusade to recruit allies to face the dark power. In 1999, Shadow Man sacrificed himself to eliminate dark power, and the heroes of Earth gathered to pay their respects and prepare for the wars to come. As time passed, Obadiah Archer became a symbol of peace and order in a world where warring corporations caused turbulence. Despite his efforts, Obadiah knew that it was not enough. In 2028, Bloodshot faced Axe, a Harbinger renegade, on a lunar base and lost, drained of his blood. In 2056, Axe and the blood vanished, and Jeff continued to search for him. In the original Valiant run, Bloodshot embodied many popular anti-hero archetypes of the time, such as ruthless hitmen for the Mafia. He eventually becomes a loner, seeking to overthrow corrupt hierarchies, armed with a samurai sword, handguns, and a literal target on his chest. And we're going to explore this character, especially his story arc as introduced by Valiant Comics in 1993. The tale of Bloodshot's origins begin with Angelo Mortali, an up-and-coming hitman in New York's criminal underworld. He had plans to marry the daughter of mob boss Gino Canelli, but when he discovered Angelo's infidelity, Canelli framed him for a murder just out of spite. Angelo strikes a deal with the FBI for witness protection in exchange for information. However, when Canelli learns of this, he hands Angelo over to Project Rising Spirits, PRS, an illegal program that turns humans into weapons. The PRS is led by Hideyoshi Iwatsu, who is one of the most corrupt scientists, and as part of their program, they inject Angelo's body with nanites, microscopic technology that grants him incredible superhuman abilities while erasing his memories. These abilities include rapid healing, immense strength, and the power to manipulate electronic devices. However, the procedure also comes at a steep cost. Angelo's memories are completely wiped away, leaving him disorientated and enraged with no knowledge of his past. After breaking free from the lab, he takes on the role of Bloodshot and embarks on a quest to uncover his past and learn the truth about his identity and why he was chosen for the experiment. The Eternal Warrior Galad and Mortali join together and clash with his former colleagues in the New York mob. Throughout his journey, he discovers his past and gets to know that he was actually a hitman and resolves to use his powers for good. He travels to Europe to fight against corruption and discovers that Mary, his wife, was killed by a very powerful woman named Krago, whom he later avenges. With the help of Abrams, he devises a fresh persona as Michael Lazarus and dons the Bloodshot guise to take down evildoers such as Physiots and Harbinger. scavengers. His valiant deeds in the 20th century become a source of inspiration for the Rai warriors of the future, who pay homage to him by adopting a similar look. The 43rd and 44th Rai are endowed with Angelo's nanites. Despite his complex history, Bloodshot proves to be an unwavering anti-hero, motivated to employ his powers for the greater good. Throughout the years, the character's backstory has evolved, but the idea of Bloodshot as a nanite-infused anti-hero remains central to the character. The alternate story arc created by Acclaim Comics. Valiant was acquired by Acclaim Entertainment, a video game publisher, in 1996. This led to a bold relaunch of Bloodshot in the late 90s. The character was given a new logo and a leather trench coat, and the focus was shifted towards the sci-fi aspect of his abilities. The relationship between Bloodshot nanites in his body was explored further, revealing that they formed a symbiotic relationship with their human host and were sentient. The writer of the run, Len Kaminski, turned the protagonist's identity into a mystery and revealed that he was actually former Marine Ray Garrison. This plot twist added a psychological horror element to the series, which fans responded well to. The version of Bloodshot depicted in this iteration is distinct, with an unchanging appearance of alabaster skin and red eyes. Regardless of his powers, Garrison is a covert agent of the Domestic Operations Authority, assigned to invade the crime family of Kennelly. He assumes the identity of Angelo Mortali and becomes romantically involved with a member of the crime family, Gina DiCarlo, but his cover is blown and he is murdered by the Kennellys. Garrison's body is taken to a covert operation known as Project Lazarus, headed by Dr. Stromheim, where he is brought back to life using nanites and transformed into a seamlessly invincible being called the Angel of Death. The process causes him to lose some of his memory, and he mistakenly believes he is still Angelo Mortali. As he investigates further into his past, he finds himself caught in a battle between the DOA and the Mafia. To capture Bloodshot, the director of the DOA enlists a group of mercenaries called the Chainsaw, who eliminate any evidence that could tie them to Project Lazarus. Tragically, the DOA murders Gina DiCarlo, who had helped Bloodshot. As he unravels the mystery behind his resurrection and uncovers his true identity, Bloodshot must remove a prime assembler unit implanted in his body to prevent the experiment from being duplicated. Despite being embroiled in conflict with both sides, Bloodshot's relentless determination to uncover the truth proves that he is an anti-hero fighting for a higher purpose. Bloodshot's story begins with him caught up in a complex conspiracy where microscopic machines and erased memories haunt him. He possesses big guns, quick reflexes, and an unbreakable will to discover the reason behind the mob's attempt on his life and the United States government's theft of his soul. During a violent shootout with 4 mobsters, he is shot several times, but still manages to pursue them. Eventually, he is shot with a shotgun and falls into the Sheep's Head Bay, where he relives his rebirth and escape from the DOA in his slumber. Upon awakening, he finds himself with no memory of who he is and decides to investigate his identity. He forces Michael Pileggi to confess the truth about Angelo Mortali, who a high-ranking member of the Kennelly crime family and was murdered by Don Kennelly after cooperating with the FBI. Raymond also discovers that his memories are unreliable and that he cannot remember living in his house, the diner where he used to eat with his friends, or even Don Kennelly's daughter, Gina DiCarlo. Raymond is later hunted down by Chainsaw, a team of mercenaries who open fire on him with incendiary rounds. He takes a direct hit to the chest, which sends him reeling into an alley and severely injures him. With the help of the nanites and a stray cat, Raymond manages to regenerate himself. He then kills their heavy ordnance expert with an explosive he wires to a building and tracks down the rest of the team one by one. In a surreal experience, Gina DiCarlo appears to Raymond Garrison as an apparition and delivers a chilling warning. She cautions him about a man with a light-filled exterior but a dark and cold soul. She describes this individual as a pale rider who holds the candle of truth within the darkest of hearts. Gina predicts that this rider would lead 4 horsemen to a battle against the blinding light. She then discloses that prior to her death, someone attempted to brainwash her to forget about Raymond, but she was unable to erase everything. Upon hearing this message, Raymond's curiosity is reignited, and he decides to return to the place where he was resurrected to confront Dr. Stroheim. His goal is to uncover the truth about his past and the mysterious world of nanites that have given him extraordinary abilities. However, instead of providing clear answers, Dr. Stroheim offers an esoteric explanation. He suggests that the concept of truth is subjective and doesn't possess a reliable method of objective analysis. To further his point, he shows Raymond the regeneration tank and explains how he has created neo-biological organisms beyond human design to fulfill his desires, even to resurrect the dead. As Raymond pieces together the reality of his existence, he has an epiphany. He understands that he is nothing more than a weapon composed of flesh and blood, manipulated and controlled by those who hold power. Fueled by rage and confusion, he destroys the laboratory and demands to know the extent of the experimentation and manipulation of other individuals. The Valiant reboot of Bloodshot was a great effort. After a claim filed for bankruptcy in 2004, a group of investors took ownership of Valiant's intellectual property and embarked on a gradual overhaul of the company's lineup. They rehired Jim Shooter, co-creator of the original Valiant universe, to oversee the process. In 2012, Valiant Entertainment brought back Bloodshot as part of its new line, complete with a revamped origin story and updated appearance that combined elements from previous versions of the character. The comic book series, written by Dwayne Swerinski, follows a retired man who is lured back into action for one last mission. However, he is soon kidnapped and told that his peaceful life was a lie, as he had been implanted with false memories to keep him docile. Valiant Entertainment's 2012 reboot of the Project Rising Spirit program, PRS, breathed new life into the development of super soldiers dating back to World War II. These formidable warriors, collectively known as the Bloodshot Squad, were each named after their unique abilities. Among the members were Tank Man, a World War II veteran, and a self-described animated Frankenstein, Viet Man, a Vietnam War veteran with the ability to repair and adapt to any environment, and Cold Man, a Cold War-era covert agent who would appear more human. Test subject Bloodhound was also part of the squad. However, these super soldiers were created as weapons, with little regard for the innocent lives they might endanger. The Bloodshot project initially used nanites to transfer memories from deceased soldiers to the super soldiers, effectively manipulating their emotions and motivations to ensure control. However, one Bloodshot cyborg with multiple false identities implanted over time went insane, leading to the program's destruction of him in 2010. The techniques and technology used on him were refined for the next Bloodshot, Everyman, who served in various special ops missions and was sent to capture individuals with rare superhuman abilities, called Pisots. Everyman, who believed he was Raymond Garrison, discovered the truth about PRS director Simon Orek's use of the Bloodshot super soldiers while on a mission in Afghanistan in 2007. Horrified by the revelation, Dr. Emmanuel Kurtich left PRS to join Toyo Harada's Harbinger Foundation, where he plotted to expose and stop PRS. While on a mission, Everyman was captured by the Harbinger Foundation, and Kuretich forcibly extracted Bloodshot's mental records of past missions. This caused Everyman to realize that his memories and identities were repeatedly manipulated and false, ultimately leading him to escape from PRS and suspect all of his memories might be lies. Everyman eventually discovered the nursery, a PRS facility housing captured Viziot children, and rescued their captives. In doing so, he encountered the sadistic jailer Gamma, as well as the outdated cyborg Hit Squad Chainsaw. His actions at the nursery played a pivotal role in the Harbinger Wars crossover event, as several free Viziots banded together to oppose both the Foundation and PRS, forming a group called the Renegades, which included the hacker activist known as @X. In a subsequent confrontation, Bloodshot crossed paths with Toyo Harada, but was unable to resist the Harada Protocol, a secret program developed by Project Rising Spirit that forced him to eliminate Harada. Their intense battle resulted in severe injuries to Harada and depleted Nanite in Bloodshot's body. Consequently, Bloodshot was captured and imprisoned by Harada's Harbinger Foundation, where he underwent excruciating tests to study his unique abilities. To prevent the Harbinger Foundation from uncovering their research secrets, PRS dispatched a superhuman combat team called Hardcore. Despite incurring significant losses, the team managed to retrieve Bloodshot. In exchange for restoring his health and nanites, Bloodshot agreed to join the Hardcore, participating in various global missions. Bloodshot Movie in 2020 was an interesting take on the superhero. Ray Garrison, a US Marine, and his wife Gina take a vacation in an Italian beach town after successfully rescuing hostages in Mombasa. However, they are kidnapped by mercenaries led by Martin Axe, who kills Gina in front of Ray. Demanding to know how the US military learned about the hostages' location, Ray cannot answer, and Axe kills him too. Ray later awakens in a lab in Kuala Lumpur, where he discovers he's been brought back to life through the Bloodshot program, which is a nanite technology that replaced his bloodstream, increasing his strength and healing his injuries. Ray's memories have been manipulated by Dr. Emil Harting, the CEO of Rising Spirit Technologies, so he can go after Harting's former associates without question or remorse. Ray eventually realizes he's been manipulated and seeks revenge against Harting and his cooperation. Ray tracks down and kills his wife's killer, as well as other targets, only to learn that Gina is still alive and that Harting has been using him to eliminate his associates. With the help of a programmer, Ray manages to sabotage RST's computers and kill Harting. He wakes up with his full memories, and with the help of the programmer and a former patient, they leave to start a new life. The film's director, Dave Wilson, creates a formulaic comic book movie with generic action sequences that mostly fail to impress the audience. The screenwriter Jeff Wadlow and Eric Heisserer take the inspiration from well-known films in the genre like Terminator 2 Judgment Day, RoboCop and Total Recall. While the film attempts to be self-aware, the cliches and the formulaic action make the script feel lazy and uninspired. The film's attempt to be a meta-film with its characters breaking the fourth wall, referencing its own formulaic nature and having its characters say lines like, "I've seen this movie before," adds no real novelty or depth to the movie. It's not to say that it's a completely ineffective movie, because the action sequences, no matter how irrelevant they seem to the unsatisfied watcher, it's their ballistic magical realism that keeps people wanting more from this fun movie. One could say that the acting in the film is more mediocre, with Vin Diesel as Ray Garrison not delivering his best performance. His character is one-dimensional with no depth to his portrayal. The supporting cast, including Isa Gonzalez and Sam Heughan, do their best to make the most of their underwritten roles. The film's score by Steve Jablonsky does its best to create a sense of excitement, but it ends up being forgettable. Overall, Bloodshot is a formulaic action film with a predictable plot and undeveloped characters, but at the same time, it's still an enjoyable and entertaining movie that blends the elements of sci-fi with all those borrowed action scenes. Although the very attempt to be a self-aware movie falls flat, and the uninspired action sequences make the film feel like a generic comic book adaptation, the film's cast and crew do their best, but the script lacks originality and depth, making the film a forgettable addition to the genre. No shade towards the people who enjoyed it though. After all, it's your personal opinion that matters over the general criticism of the public. Will Vin Diesel return for a sequel? Vin Diesel has been confirmed to renew his role as Ray Garrison in Bloodshot 2, which will be the follow-up to the 2020 film. The sequel has been in development since the release of the original movie. Bloodshot 2 will continue to follow the story of Ray, the former Marine who was brought back to life and became a super soldier. DMG CEO Dan Mintz defended the decision to make a sequel, citing the success of the film on VOD platforms, despite its box office failure. No release date has been announced for the project yet, and while Vin Diesel is set to return, it is unclear whether other cast members will be back. New characters are expected to join Ray's fight, and there will likely be a new villain introduced. Even though the first movie was not well received critically, it remains a popular action flick that is highly rewatchable. What makes Bloodshot so powerful? Bloodshot is a highly skilled soldier with exceptional hand-to-hand combat skills and proficiency in the use of military weaponry. However, his most remarkable abilities stem from the nanites that dwell within his bloodstream. Those microscopic machines grant him the power to regenerate from any injury, including gunshot wounds, incineration, and exposure to extreme temperatures. The nanites in Bloodshot's bloodstream are designed to perform various medical and military applications. They can repair and reconstruct damaged organs, muscles, and nerves, allowing him to recover quickly from severe injuries. In addition to his regenerative powers, Bloodshot produces a sonic screech that causes intense headaches and disorientation in anyone nearby. He also has the ability to blend in with his surroundings by altering his skin pigmentation, rendering himself invisible to the naked eye. Furthermore, he can mimic the appearance of other individuals, making it challenging for anyone to identify him. Bloodshot's nanites possess many advanced features, such as a neural synaptic discharge, which emits a burst of neural energy that disrupts the concentration and mental capabilities of Saiyans, preventing them from using their innate abilities. Additionally, these nanites can take on personalities to keep Bloodshot informed of his health and surroundings, and they require protein to function correctly. Moreover, they can enhance his sensory functions beyond human limits, extending his hearing into the ultrasonic range and his sight into an infrared and ultraviolet ranges. It is crucial to note that different versions of the character may have different abilities, such as the ability to create and control technology or manipulate gravity. However, these abilities are not present in all versions of Bloodshot. Despite Bloodshot's advanced capabilities, his nanites are susceptible to being hacked or reprogrammed by hostile forces with their nanotechnology or exposed to a high-level EMP. Bloodshot's memory implants also play a vital role in his abilities. The Project Rising Spirit has implanted several fictional wives, children, and friends to motivate him to complete the mission. Dr. Kurtik, as ex-PRS scientist, created many of these memories. After being freed from PRS's control, Bloodshot retained these personalities within his mind, including an alternate reality version of himself named Ray. These memory implants provide additional motivations for Bloodshot to protect his loved ones, and he will go to any lengths to keep them safe.
You're making a mistake.
Thanks for the advice.
Conclusion. It's no wonder why Vin Diesel wanted to portray Bloodshot. He's an incredible, unique and complex character. His character's roles doesn't just revolve around catching the bad guys, but it's also about how he deals with situations that snuggle their way into his life. Bloodshot is a character who has been manipulated and is struggling to figure out who he is. Bloodshot's character is so complex and emotional that he naturally appeals to audiences because of his internal conflicts. Even Diesel's portrayal of Bloodshot is grounded in the core values of those who have served in the military. The film explores themes that are relatable and poignant, such as the manipulation of technology and the injustice of being exploited. Wilson's directorial efforts and Diesel's performance have brought this popular Valiant Comics character to life on the big screen, creating a memorable superhero with a unique Achilles heel. The film showcases the intersection of technology and the ethical questions it poses about the future of humanity. Well, that's it for today, and we'll see you next time. But until then, don't forget to post your opinions in the comment section below. And if you liked our content, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.